Bryant.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy Bryan, your host for another edition of the Coach Bob Dillard pregame show. The show each week is brought your way by the good people at Fakes and Hookers Porter Paints Decorating Center, Aflac's Regional Headquarters, Hayes Mirroring Glass, Joe Hayes, Lebanon Mayor Don Fox, Lebanon Heating and Air, Don Bennett and James Parkerson. We'll be going to some highlights of last week's Lebanon High win over Murfreesboro, Oakland. Coach, right out of the chute, we line up in a kind of a new formation and give the football to Jade Sellers.
Right, we felt like the wing formation would give their defensive alignment some trouble, and we lined up in that and run the sweep. And first play of the ball game, Jade goes for, 20, 25 yards here. The wing formation gave them some problems early.
Well, you talk about problems. Here's some more for Oakland as Jade gets around the corner.
We'd been running the sweep to the wing side, and we come back here after they'd adjusted to it and run it back away from the wing side, and Jade goes in for the touchdown. Our offensive line did a excellent job blocking all night long, and our backs ran hard, I thought.
Here we drop in the nickel coverage, and Counts goes back to pass, but Ricky Phillips comes up with a play.
Right. We in our nickel package, we get an extra defensive back there and one less lineman, and hopefully try to cover them with an extra man back there, and it worked in that situation.
And here we go to Joel Griffin.
This was a new formation that we put in last week with where we lined Griffin up at tight end and sent 4 receivers deep, and they only had 3 guys to cover them, and that was a plus for us.
Carson on the crossing route.
This is what we call 48 drag, where we fake the sweep and throw the drag back to the tight end, which that slows their pursuit down backside on the sweep. They get to running with us too much, we'll throw that on them, and they'll have to slow down backside.
Bubba Jennings with the trap block, and here goes Bo Grissom right up the middle.
We ran 31 trap, I don't know how many times, but Bo had 102 or 3 yards rushing on it, and had several yards called back in penalties, and then Luke came in late in the ball game and picked up several yards running, and Bubba did a good job trap blocking for us all night long.
Now, this is a question I wanted to ask you. Was the pass to Brooks Cherry we're going to see, was this a check?
Jason checked this at the line of scrimmage. We had a pass called, and the coverage that they were in prevented us from running the route that we had called, so Jason checks to what we call a fade route and throws the fade to Cherry for a touchdown.
Here we get a good pass rush on the sophomore quarterback.
Right. This sack here is due to our secondary coverage. You'll see this guy had a lot of time to throw the football, and he didn't have anybody to throw it to. You can't see our secondary on the film, but they had everybody covered, and that gives our defensive line time to get some pressure on him.
Joel Griffin is so dangerous returning the football.
Yes, he is. Coach Anderson and Coach Angel have done a good job with our kickoff return this year. Most of our returns have been for 30 or more yards, and when you can do that and get good field position, that helps your situation.
Here's a play Oakland did not adjust well to, and man, oh man, was it wide open.
Yeah, we felt like that this would give them some problems with. They were in man coverage, and if we got our tailback out on them, that they wouldn't have anybody to cover him, and as you can see, there wasn't anybody in the area with Jade, and Jason just lays it up and lets him run under it.
Next up, Chris Stafford makes a great run that goes for naught because of a block in the back.
Right. We've got to cut out those penalties. I know Chris, he ran hard and ran with a lot of effort all night long, and he was kind of down because of the penalties that we had, but if he just keeps giving us that kind of effort and we keep getting after people, your big runs are going to come.
You have moved Joel Griffin around, and now he makes an appearance at fullback.
Well, our fullback was getting tired. We'd run the trap so much, so we put Griffin in there at fullback and tell him to run the trap, and he picks up 25 or 30 off of 31 trap. That's Bubba Jennings again does a good job trap blocking.
And Atwood's going on the linebacker, and Bubba just comes across. Here comes Grissom, and a touchdown run for Bo right up the middle.
Again, this is the same play, 31 trap again, and once Bo gets in the secondary, they were in man coverage and there's nobody around. Bo goes in for 6.
You mentioned Bubba Jennings. The offensive line did a great job, though. We really controlled the line of scrimmage.
Well, I was proud of our offensive line because, number one, we were outsized probably 40, 50 pounds a man over at Oakland. They had some big old youngins in there, and we got after them and did a pretty good job blocking all night.
Defensively, you can't ask for much more. We held them to a -1 on the ground.
Right. Anytime we feel like if we can hold people under 100 yards total offense, that we ought to have a shot to win the football game. And anytime you can do that against the caliber of people that we play, it's an exceptional job by your defense, and that's a tribute to our defensive coaches. I think they do a super job.
Cookeville is the opponent this week, the team the folks will be seeing on the replay here in just a few minutes. Cookeville comes in 0-5, but from what I've seen on film, they appear to be a very well-coached football team. They seem to be outmanned at a couple of positions, though.
Right. They've had some tough luck with injuries and things like that, and they lost a couple of key players, and they're having a tough go of it. But a lot of times when that happens and you encounter that kind of adversity, it pulls you together and makes you fight harder. And I think it's just a matter of time of when they pull things together, and they're going to beat somebody. It's just a matter of time.
They've had 21 turnovers in the first 5 football games. That's just incredible, and there's no way they could win games with that kind of turnover ratio.
Right. Hendersonville beats them 55-0, and we of course had that film, and we looked at it, and Cookeville turns it over 10 times in one ball game. That was the night that it rained, and you can't beat anybody turning the football over that many times.
What are going to be some of the keys to pulling out a win against Cookeville?
I think we're going to have to score early. I think, and if we can score early, and I believe it'll take a little wind out of their sails, and hopefully we can have some success early and take them out of the ball game early, and not ever give them really a chance to think they're in the ball game.
Chris Lehue, I talked to him earlier, and this should be his last game to miss, and he's supposed to be back at practice on Monday.
From what the doctors are telling us, that they wanted us to hold him out last week, and they suggested doing that again this week. So we've done that, and from the last that I talked with the doctor, Chris would be able to be back with us Monday, and that's going to be a plus for our defensive unit.
Coach, good luck to you and the Blue Devils. Let's pick up another regional win.
Thanks, Tommy.
That's it for this edition of the Bob Dillard pregame show, brought your way by Lebanon Heating and Air, Lebanon Mayor Don Fox, Hayes Mirror and Glass, Aflac's regional headquarters on the Castle Heights property, Fakes and Hookers, Porter Paints Decorating Center. Stay tuned for the kickoff of Lebanon and Cookeville.
Glennis Videos, in association with Lebanon and Cablevision, presents Lebanon Blue Devil Football, with your announcer, Tommy Bryan, play-by-play by Sam Axley, statistician, Terry Stafford, and your on-the-field reporter, John Bryan.
Blue Devils try to continue their winning ways tonight at home at Noakes Laster Field. Taking on Cookeville this evening, looks like it could be the possibility of a win. Cookeville is 0-5 on the season, 0-4 in the region, and the Blue Devils have won 4 straight after that opening season loss. Let's see if they can continue their ways. We'll be back with kickoff in just a moment.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following Blue Devil supporters: Beard Construction, Burchett Ford Subaru, Fakes and Hookers, First Bank and Trust, K.O. Lester Cash and Carry, Lebanon Cablevision, Perma Pipe Division of Midwestco, Piggly Wiggly, Rochelle, McCullough and All, Rock Tin Company, TRW Commercial Steering Division, Toshiba America Division, Women's Health Center. Please let our supporters know that you enjoy the broadcast.
I got ginger ale. Welcome to Lebanon, Tennessee, Noakes Lassiter Field for the night's contest between the Cookeville Cavaliers and the Lebanon Blue Devils in a big Region 4 5A contest. We're going to go to the introductions to referee Jack Jolly.
Of Lebanon. Are you going to make the call? Call. All right, fellas, that's the field. That's the field. You make the call in the air. If I drop it, we'll go again. You understand that? Call it. What'd you call? Head? He called head. It is tail. It is tails. Blue team, you have won the choice of first time. You can kick the ball, you can receive the ball, you can defend the goal, or you can defer to the second half. Your choice.
You want to defer to the second half.
You want to defer to the
Captain Jade Sellers has deferred to the second half. The Blue Devils winning the toss. Cookeville will now pick the goal they want to defend for this evening's contest. The officiating crew consists of Doyle Lowe, back judge Mike Stanberry, electronic clock operator Randy Ingram, head linesman Scott Broadway, line judge Steve Williams, the umpire, and Jack Jolly, the referee. Cookeville will receive and defend the north goal. Up to you, Tommy.
Thanks, John. Tonight, the Cookeville High Cavaliers have traveled down I-40 to play Lebanon High School in a Region 4 5A football contest. The Cavaliers are coached by Ron Chambers. They stand 0-5 on the year, 0-4 in the region, after dropping a 33-17 decision to Mount Juliet last week. Senior tailback Jerry Hayes is the big man for the Cavs. He's rushed for 377 yards on 82 carries, 4 touchdowns, an average of 4.6 per try. Cookeville's trying something different tonight. They've benched their senior quarterback, John Davidson, in favor of Adam Chambers, a sophomore. Chambers happens to be the son of head coach Ron Chambers. So we're going to see what Cookeville does offensively. We'll see that first. As Lebanon has deferred, Cookeville opted to receive. Lebanon will take the wind here in the first half, in the first quarter. There's a pretty stiff breeze blowing out of the south. Kicking it off for Lebanon High School will be Kyle Zachary. Lebanon dressed out in the blue jerseys, white helmets, white pants. Cookeville in the red headgear, silver pants, white jerseys with red trim. Here with the play-by-play call of tonight's game is Sam Axley.
Thank you, Tommy. Blue Devils ready to kick off this ball game is Zachary ready to kick it away to Cookeville. 4-1 on the season. The Blue Devils 0-5 for the Cavaliers. Short kick will bounce and be taken by an upback at about the 15, and about a 2-yard gain on the return. And Tommy down on the return, Jeff Buchanan.
Buchanan down there, Tim Kelly as well as Cookeville will start this football game inside their own 20. Turnovers have been a problem for the Cavs this year, folks. They've turned it over 21 times coming into this football game. That would explain it, at least in part, that 0-5 record.
And as Tommy told you, the quarterback will be, I believe, number 1, Adam Chambers. He will bring his team out on an I, wide receiver left and right. 5-man line by the Blue Devils. Fullback straight up the middle as he fights his way up to about the 23-yard line. It looked to be number 30, Poppy Gist, and we'll check, and it was about a 4 or 5 yard gain on the carry. And Tommy, the comment you made, the fullbacks only had about 14 carries on the season, and they go to them to start off.
Cookeville pretty much predominantly a tailback throwing football team. Tailback had 80-something carries coming into this football game, and they have thrown the ball 70 times.
So second down and about 5 for the Cavaliers, 23-yard line. And turn, toss sweep to the left to the tailback. Good pursuit, though, by the line. Hayes, not much of a gain on there, as Sellers out there, as well as Trey Reynolds.
Defensively for Lebanon, the same bunch we had last week. Jeff Gannon at defensive end, Ian Crockett at tackle, Andy Bowles at the nose, Ryan Alves at a tackle, Trey Reynolds at defensive end, Joel Griffin, Jade Sellers are your linebackers.